Caitlin Clark completely dismissed Cheryl Reeve. And Sabrina Ionescu didn't hold back. No filter, no sugarcoating. "We're swapping coaches. Caitlin's taking hers," Sabrina declared, leaving the room stunned. This wasn't a joke, it was a clear message, confirming what many had suspected. In the WNBA, the real tension isn't limited to the game.
I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Bee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it.
Oh.
It's going to be amazing. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule. So, Sandy Brondello, come on over.
Whoa!
Caitlin Clark made history, and not with a buzzer beater. She did it by cutting ties with her coach. Sabrina Ionescu's response was unforgettable, but most people missed the point. This wasn't just a roster shakeup, it was a statement that could shake the WNBA to its core.
Anything they were doing specifically, or did you feel like you guys just weren't executing the way you wanted to?
Yeah, I thought in the first half we have a tendency to, as we've learned about ourselves over the course of how many games that we've played now.
The 2025 All-Star Draft wasn't just another pick session. It was a power move masked as entertainment. Caitlin Clark didn't just brush off Cheryl Reeve. She sent a clear signal. Veterans no longer call all the shots. And the real twist? Coaches, once background figures, are now quietly pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Maybe it's going to be the X Factor.
Okay.
The coaches are maybe going to be the X Factor.
Hey, Sandy, defending champion, loves to shoot threes, lets her players get after it. I don't know. I'm feeling good with Sandy and Sabrina on my team. Like I said, if you want to send Stewie over too, I'll take her. So
what's the offer? What's the offer for Stewie?
What's the offer here?
What looked like a casual all-star draft took a sharp turn when Caitlin Clark swapped Cheryl Reeve for Sandy Brondello. That single move made her the first WNBA player ever to trade coaches. But the real highlight came from Sabrina Ionescu. Learning she'd reunite with her New York coach, she smiled and said, "You're not getting away from me." A quick line, but for those paying close attention, it carried weight, a subtle nod to chemistry, loyalty, and a deeper understanding of the moment.
What was your favorite play individually tonight with the 3 blocks and also the offense? What was your favorite play for you? And Coach, you may have been involved in the first ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
They announced it? Yeah. That you got traded? Yeah. Oh, I gotta go look at all that. Traded? I have no idea what the teams are. Second time in history now. Jeez, as a player.
Let's be clear about what this move actually meant. It wasn't a heat-of-the-moment decision. Caitlin knew exactly what she was doing when she pushed Cheryl Reeve aside. The history between them isn't exactly friendly, and anyone who follows women's basketball closely knows there's more behind this than just strategy or preference.
And I got traded, yes. My son hit me up. After he goes, I've created history. This is awesome. I got traded as a coach. But look, I get to coach with Sabrina. I'm on Caitlin Clark's in Indianapolis. I mean, what a great show. So we'll go out there and have some fun.
Remember when Caitlin Clark was left off the Olympic roster? At the time, Cheryl Reeve was coaching Team USA. The whole situation was a mess. To make matters worse, Reeve later criticized how much attention Clark was getting in the WNBA, as if it had gone too far. It was a bold statement, no sugarcoating. So when Caitlin pulled off that coach trade, it wasn't just tactical, it was personal. Her message was clear. You didn't want me on your team? Then you're not coaching mine either. Ice cold, and already part of league history.
Sandy at the All-Star game. Right here, Benny. No,
Yeah, I'm actually very excited. It's never happened to me before, so this is the first time. Obviously super comfortable being able to go there with a coach that loves me, and I'm really excited to be able to just kind of share that together. I mean, I think it's obviously an honor to be able to go with my teammate, but also the coaching staff and everyone. Like, it's a time to celebrate, obviously, our accomplishments, but hers as well. Like, it's not easy to be like a top coach and have to go do that. So I'm excited to kind of be able to spend that all together.
What most people missed was Sandy Brondello's response. When it was announced live that she would be coaching Caitlin Clark's All-Star team, she reacted exactly how you'd expect from someone with her experience. With poise, humor, and total professionalism. She didn't get offended. She smiled. Her own son even texted her saying, "Mom, you just made history. You're the first coach to be traded in an all-star setting." It was the kind of surprising and proud moment that highlighted just how unusual this entire situation really was. What made it even more striking was the fact that it all unfolded live during the July 8th draft. No behind-the-scenes planning, no approvals, just an unscripted twist happening in real time with the cameras rolling. ESPN didn't quite know how to react. Were they witnessing a rules violation, or did they just strike ratings gold? Right in the middle of it, Caitlin Clark turned to the camera and said, with complete confidence, "Sorry WNBA if that's not allowed. Sorry ESPN, but we just made it official." That kind of boldness isn't taught. That's the mindset of a true franchise player, changing the game with a smile. Things took an even more intriguing turn when Sabrina Ionescu was picked for Team Clark. Once she realized that Brondello would also be coaching, she smirked and said, "You're not getting away from me." Some laughed. Others caught the deeper meaning. Because for Sabrina, this wasn't just a funny coincidence. It was a real edge. She'd spent the entire season under Brondello's system in New York. She knew the plays, the substitutions, the way her coach thought. No need for adjustments or learning curves. While other players had to adapt to a new coaching style, Sabrina already had the blueprint. And on top of that, she was surrounded by some of the most talented athletes in the league. What looked like lighthearted entertainment quickly turned into a calculated move. A coach trade became a chess play. And Caitlin Clark, far from chasing attention, was quietly building something with purpose. This wasn't just a funny stunt, it was high-level strategy. And what's most telling is what it says about where the WNBA stands today when it comes to player empowerment. Caitlin Clark, still in just her second year as a pro, didn't ask for approval, didn't explain herself. She just rewrote the All-Star rulebook live on national TV. That's not reckless, that's leadership. That's the kind of mindset that doesn't just win games, it reshapes entire leagues. And the timing was no accident. The WNBA is in the middle of a major shift. Players are no longer just following orders. They're speaking up, claiming space, and taking part in building their environment. Caitlin's move wasn't just about her past with Cheryl Reeve. It was about sending a message to the future. If players can take charge in an exhibition game, what's stopping them from doing the same in the regular season? The consequences didn't take long to appear. Nafisa Collier, who plays for Cheryl Reeve in Minnesota, found herself on the opposing team, now led by Sandy Brondello. This wasn't just a simple jersey swap. It created an awkward dynamic, one where real professional loyalties were suddenly disrupted by an unexpected twist in an otherwise symbolic all-star event. A strange blend of order and chaos, and it worked. The media reaction came fast, and just as expected. Some outlets tried to brush it off, treating the move as playful mischief, but others understood the deeper significance. This was a calculated power play, masked by charm. Caitlin Clark didn't just remind people she's one of the best on the court. She proved she's also thinking several steps ahead. She showed she knows how to shift the system in her favor without ever challenging it directly. If you've arrived here, subscribe! Amid all of this, Sabrina Ionescu's reaction highlighted something essential about WNBA culture. This league isn't just about competition, it's about trust, mutual respect, and long-standing relationships between players. Her "you're not getting away from me" line wasn't aggressive. It was a nod to the bond built through countless games and shared time on the court. From a coaching standpoint, Sandy Brondello's approach stood out as well. Suddenly, she was tasked with leading a group of stars she had never coached before, including arguably the most polarizing figure in women's basketball. Yet she embraced the challenge without hesitation. She looked comfortable. She welcomed the moment. That's what sets elite coaches apart. Their ability to stay adaptable and energized when the script changes. And then there was the way Caitlin delivered it. No press statement, no build-up, just a casual, "Wow, we're switching coaches," like she was ordering a drink. That calm confidence was, in many ways, more impactful than the trade itself. Fan reactions exploded. Clark's supporters hailed it as brilliant. Some even called it iconic. Meanwhile, Reeve's defenders viewed it as a slap in the face, and somewhere in between, traditionalists started wondering if this opened the door to a risky new trend in future All-Star games. Spontaneous decisions like this are exactly what exhibition games need. Unscripted moments with real emotional weight. Those are the ones that break routine and get everyone talking about the league. Caitlin Clark didn't just show up to play, she took command. The All-Star format had started to feel stale. Same playbook, same posturing, nothing surprising. But Caitlin shattered that rhythm with a single decision. It was bold, unexpected, and exactly what the event needed to feel alive again. Sometimes the only way to revive something is by letting someone brave enough step in and shake the system. That's exactly what she did. What gave the move even more meaning was that she didn't do it alone. Sabrina Ionescu being involved gave the moment extra weight. This wasn't just any player. Sabrina is a respected veteran. Her presence legitimized the move. Her subtle yet clear reaction showed that this was more than just all-star antics. She didn't just understand the move, she endorsed it. And that matters, because when someone like Ionescu signals approval, the league listens. From a broader perspective, this moment perfectly illustrates where the WNBA is today. Rising stars like Caitlin Clark bring more than just skill. They bring fresh ideas, a new approach to the game. Meanwhile, experienced players like Sabrina are adjusting to this evolving dynamic, finding new ways to lead and contribute. Coaches like Sandy Brondello prove that experience isn't about rigidity. It's about flexibility and staying sharp no matter what comes your way. Sabrina's now iconic "you're not getting away from me" line wasn't thrown out casually. It was a window into the close-knit nature of the league. In the WNBA, relationships go beyond buzzer sounds and final scores. These women train together, share team camps, and develop long-standing chemistry. They know each other's styles, strengths, and flaws. That connection runs deeper than uniforms. So when Sabrina made the comment, it wasn't a challenge. It was a nod to something much bigger. What's incredible is how fast it all escalated. What started as a lighthearted all-star draft quickly turned into a discussion about empowerment, leadership, and professional dynamics. One decision sparked weeks of coverage and debate, and it couldn't have come at a more relevant time. Right after a heated Olympic selection period filled with omissions, controversy, and coaching criticism, that tension was still in the air when Caitlin made her move. In that context, Sandy Brondello's response stood out as a model of professionalism. Most coaches in her position might have felt disrespected. Being traded like a roster player could easily be taken the wrong way, but not Sandy. She responded with humor, confidence, and grace. When her son texted her to say she had made history as the first coach traded in an all-star setting, she didn't brush it off. She accepted it with a sense of pride, recognizing the unique moment for what it was, a part of WNBA history. This moment also reflects a larger shift happening across all sports, the changing relationship between athletes and coaches. More than ever, players are speaking up, shaping the environments around them. Coaching is no longer just about giving orders, it's about collaboration. It's about building systems that bring out the best in each individual. Clark's decision was precisely that, a calculated move to surround herself with someone who could help her build something stronger. Even in an exhibition setting. The media, as expected, became part of the story too. Some journalists frantically searched the rule books, trying to figure out if what just happened was even allowed. Broadcasters scrambled to make sense of it all in real time. Meanwhile, social media exploded. Fans split into two camps. Those calling it a groundbreaking move, and others seeing it as disrespectful. But one thing was undeniable. Everyone was talking about the WNBA, and in the end, that's what matters most. Yes, it was chaos, but the kind that challenges norms, sparks conversations, and leaves a lasting mark. And right in the middle of that storm was Sabrina Ionescu. She started off as just another name in the mix, but ended up being a central figure in a story that shifted how people view the all-star format. Her prior relationship with Sandy Brondello turned something symbolic into something tactical. Sabrina didn't react like someone caught off guard. Her quick, thoughtful comment showed she understood the moment. This wasn't just about coaching. It was about chemistry, strategy, and making the most of connections already built. In a setting designed for spectacle, she responded like a chess player. That's why this move will have impact beyond just one night. Going forward, all-star drafts might rethink the possibilities, because now it's not just about who plays. It's also about who leads. Caitlin Clark opened the door without ever saying it out loud. She showed that players can have influence in places that once felt completely off limits. And she did it without a speech, without a formal announcement. She just acted. That authenticity is what made the entire moment so powerful. Nothing felt staged. Caitlin's boldness, Sabrina's humor, and Sandy's calm all felt true to who they are. In an era where everything is filtered through social media, brand management, and political correctness, what happened here felt refreshingly real, spontaneous, personal, and raw. And that honesty is what resonated with fans, with the media, with everyone watching, because behind the surprise twist was actual strategy. From a basketball standpoint, it made perfect sense. Sabrina and Sandy already share a tactical foundation, a rhythm and understanding that doesn't require warm-up time. In a fast-paced showcase like the All-Star Game, that's a real edge. Meanwhile, Caitlin chose a coach who isn't carrying baggage or expectations about her style of play. For a young player still carving out her identity, that can be both freeing and empowering. What seemed like chaos at first glance ended up being one of the smartest moves of the event. But more than that, it gave the world a snapshot of who these women are. Caitlin, bold and unafraid of taking chances. Sabrina, flexible, witty, and grounded. Sandy, composed and unshaken in the face of sudden change. These traits aren't just good for TV. They're the backbone of winning teams. They're what keep the game evolving, and more importantly, they're the kinds of qualities that shape the future of a league. If you look back through sports history, you'll find key moments that weren't planned, but changed everything. Moves that seemed minor at the time, but ended up defining eras or careers. This coach swap belongs in that category. What sets it apart is that it happened live, in front of the cameras, with social media magnifying every detail. No retakes, no edits, just raw, unfiltered basketball. And that's what made it unforgettable. What's even more compelling is that this wasn't manufactured drama. It came from a real place. The tension between Caitlin Clark and Cheryl Reeve had been simmering for a while, fueled by actual decisions, like the Olympic snub. This wasn't controversy for the sake of clicks. It was the visible result of a deeper story, one loaded with professional weight and emotional complexity. When personal stories collide with sports history, the result isn't just a headline. It becomes a defining moment. And in this particular drama, Sabrina Ionescu's role couldn't have been more fitting. Her response was effortless, authentic, and added the perfect touch of levity to keep the moment from tipping into tension. That now iconic line, "You're not getting away from me," it wasn't just a joke. It captured the entire situation in one breath. Humor, familiarity, and mutual respect, all wrapped in a knowing smile. From a strategic lens, this decision added even more nuance. Sandy Brindello went from her usual bench to leading a team full of stars she didn't typically coach, though many she knew well. In the WNBA's tightly knit circle, those relationships matter. One move shifts dynamics, reshuffles alliances, and redefines leadership, if only for a night. That's why this wasn't just a coaching swap. It was a temporary reimagining of how styles mesh, how trust forms, and how systems adapt. But what truly stood out was how each key figure navigated it. Bold but respectful, confident but never arrogant. Caitlin, Sabrina, and Sandy handled everything with clarity, class, and character. Nothing about it felt forced. There were no theatrics, no fake smiles, just three professionals staying true to who they are, even with the spotlight squarely on them. That's not coincidence. That's emotional maturity. That's a sign of a league coming into its own identity. And within that growth, this moment fit perfectly. Women's basketball is evolving. More visibility, more fans, more voices joining the conversation. These athletes aren't just competing, they're shaping culture. Moments like this show why. It's not just about what happens on the court. It's about how these players write the stories between the plays. Social media lit up the moment it happened. Basketball fans who normally don't follow the WNBA jumped in, sharing clips, weighing in, choosing sides. That's what happens when something feels real. Authenticity cuts through the noise and pulls people in. And that's exactly what this moment did. What started as an internal decision became a full-blown cultural flashpoint. For the league, it was a gift. An all-star event that could have come and gone quietly suddenly became the center of a national conversation. And the best part? It didn't come from a marketing team. It came from letting the players be themselves, letting their personalities, instincts, and relationships shape the narrative. And that, more than any highlight or headline, is how you know something real just happened. So what does this moment really mean for the future of the WNBA? Was it just a bold move? Or the start of a shift in power? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want more real stories on and off the court, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got a lot more coming.